Hello and good morning. So I am waiting to go to work and I wanted to talk about something. The full moon. The full moon, these people are crazy. Every full moon they do the same shit. They need the energy of the people for things, right? Let me give you an example. There in Palm Beach County today, one 5-year-old kid died with autism, right? And he supposedly died of drowning, supposedly, on the full moon. So what do we know? We know that gang stalking is done mostly on full moons, the most intensity. They try to really get you to be upset and shit like that. They've been desperate. Yesterday, the bus tried to get in a car accident with me. I was crossing the street walking, which I had to walk long, by the way, like 3-hour walk. And when I was crossing the street, which I had the right to walk, this lady was making a left turn. So if you're making a left turn, there's like the little lines on the floor to let you know, like, you know what I mean, what's there. So I'm crossing, and the lady literally tried to fucking hit me. And she tried, and then she laughed. But it's okay. That bitch got hers. The 1-year-old kid, the 5-year-old kid, you know, I don't know if you know, I have a 5-year-old child with autism myself. So that's something that they do. They need to have your energy. So they'd be willing to kill some kid just to kind of like get you to kind of like, oh my God, I have a 5-year-old kid too. Oh my God, this could be me. And like I said, they said it's supposedly by drowning. But I say supposedly because I believe somebody lured that child there and killed that child. And they said it was drowning. Because the thing is, these people are already all liars. The coroner's a liar, the doctor's a liar, the fucking paramedic is a liar, the neighbors are liars. So they could just say anything, right? I know this from firsthand experience. I have a cousin, right? And she had a son with autism. And the boy was about 7 or 9 years old, I think. And here's the way that it went with this kid. First thing first, there was a homeless shelter. This is why I don't go to homeless shelters, because homeless shelters are a big problem. Big problem. They be gang stalking like a motherfucker over there and gaslighting you. So my cousins was out there in the homeless shelter gang stalking people. There was still people's tablets and shit like that, you know what I mean? And they eventually, got out of the homeless shelter because the homeless shelter people gave them like a $5,000 check for a deposit. But that's not the thing. The thing is that while it was there, they got a life insurance policy on everybody, on both the parents and the children. And I'm thinking, why would you get life insurance on your kids? That's weird, It was paid out till December. December, right? Right when they told me they got the insurance policy, I said, man, if any one of them die, I know it's because of the insurance policy. Because it seemed too set up. Who the fuck put insurance on their kids and shit? That's weird. So, I moved out. They was gang stalking. You know how they do. They do the slander campaign. They do the noise campaign. Those shit like that. And my cousin literally did a slander campaign where she called my mom, told my mom I got arrested, which was an absolute lie. And she was going around telling people that, I'm this crazy person. I say 2 months later, because that happened like, not even 2 months later. That happened like maybe like September. November, her son died, mysteriously. He was going to school in Riviera Beach, Florida. So if you want to look this up, you can look it up. Because the thing is, when you lying, you just telling the story. But me, I don't tell lies. If you want to look it up, you can look it up. If you want to, So the first one is the 5-year-old autistic child that died like yesterday, I think, supposedly, of supposedly drowning. And then there's this cousin of mine with the same issue. But what happened was it was around the same time, but it was in November. But I remember it was a full moon. And what happened was the son supposedly died of meningitis, supposedly. As a person who lived in the house with them, they were abusing that child, but the government knew that. And the thing is, it's not, sometimes you could say, well, maybe nobody called the police or nobody tried to step in. My aunt called DCF on this girl to try to save this child. And they said everything was fine. If they had 2 kids, one little kid was fat, that's the one that was with the husband. The one that was not with the husband was skinny. And I used to be there at the house, and then the little one they'll give him the most food. That boy stomach be big, and he don't even eat the rest of the food. And the skinny one said, "Excuse me, can I have the?" And yeah, it's the saddest thing you could ever see. Something like this. This is why these people have to pay. The children are suffering so bad, and they have no choice because it's the people that they depend on that's doing this. Just for sacrificial whatever bullshit paganism that they got going on. My cousin's son, his little brother had finished eating, but he still had some food in his plate. And the other one, he had ate all his food. And he was skinny. And when I say skinny, I mean he was so skinny that you could see like his skeletal outline in his face, and you could see his rib cage. And it had like little ridges in there. And DCF had got called to them so many times, but they always said that everything was okay. So they go to the homeless shelter, they gang stalk at the homeless shelter, they get a hookup with a life insurance, and they say, listen, you killed this kid, he's autistic anyway, and then, you in. So the little boy goes to school in Riviera. This happened in Riviera Beach. It might say like Riviera Beach, kid dies of meningitis. And this would be between the years of like 2015, 16, maybe 2014, 14, 15, 16, 17. In between those years, in Riviera Beach, Florida, a kid died of meningitis. And it was big because it was on the news, it was newspaper everywhere. When the boy's at the hospital, they said that the boy was so swollen. What I believe happened is the guy beat the fucking child. And because the people were gang stalkers, my cousins, the doctors lied for them and said it was meningitis, when really it was my cousin sacrificing her own fucking child, who happened to be autistic, just like this one. And they lied. The boy had been swollen, his head was swollen, everything's swollen, and supposedly it's meningitis. Supposedly. So here's the story. Supposedly she goes to the hospital with him because he feels terrible. Supposedly the doctors say, oh, everything's okay in the emergency room, and they send him back home, and then like a few days later he's back in, but this time he has meningitis and he's dying. You gotta be a motherfucking fool to believe that story. Like I said, it happened around the same time, right? Same time, full moon. And when they put the story, they make sure they really blast the story. Oh yeah, and it was an autistic child, and he went to this school, and and my cousin really milked it. She had a GoFundMe, even though she had the insurance, and she had like a free funeral given by the county, and the fucking pastor didn't even know her fucking son's name. It's not funny. It's not funny, but like that's how fucked up like everything is. You know what I mean? But it's not that it's fucked up. It's that the children are in danger. I mean, like danger. They're beyond danger at this point. You know what I mean? I feel so fucking bad for these kids. And who knows if this fucking kid's mom and family was a part of it. Probably were. Probably there's some sort of life insurance on them too. Shit. I wouldn't be surprised. But the whole point is, be careful. It's a full moon. They're trying to intensify the gang stalking for all targeted individuals because, again, our energies is very important for their little whatever. And my theory is that our energy is what kind of like keeps this whole thing together going. Without our energy, the market would crash. And just so many things would happen. That's what I believe. Because I've been holding back my energy, and I've noticed things like that. Just me alone. Imagine what everybody else can do. So, yeah, just be careful, be wary. Don't let these stupid idiots get to you. And if you just, don't like what someone does, definitely try just putting a curse on them, and manifesting against them. It's so bad that the recent shooting in Atlanta, I don't know if you saw that shooting, it's big on the news. The lady was gang stalked, right? So here's what happened. African lady, or wherever she's from, because she had an accent. This lady was getting gang stalked. She was working for a company. The company was doing some shady shit, and she reported it to the boss. She said, "Hey man, this right here is not right. Something's wrong with this." Oh, there goes my bus. This was early. I guess we have to tell you the story on the bus. Y'all gotta bear me.
For today's card not valid.
First and foremost, this bus stinks. It smells like fucking fart. Second, the lady was in, I think Georgia, right? She went on a killing spree and she killed 3 people. So what happened? The lady was getting gang stalked. She worked for a company and she was an auditor. She noticed that some shit was fucked up in the company. When she reported it, they fired her. And after that, they started gang stalking her. So the evidence that she had that the company was corrupt, they broke in her house, broke in her safe, and took it out in a safe. And the thing is, there was no way to know that it was a break-in because they had the key and they had the code to the safe. You understand what I'm saying? And any person who's targeted, you know how shit is with these people. And the lady went to the police station. She tried to report everything that happened to her, and they here's what happened when they did. So when you have something like that, so they can investigate and give you like what's going on with it, you have to categorize it in a certain way. They put it in the wrong category, and they kept giving her the runaround. She went there trying to talk to them. The lady all looking at her with an attitude, don't even want to help the lady. The lady had tried to go to court. She went through the system, you know what I'm saying? And you know what happened? They kept gang stalking this lady to the point that she had no job. She couldn't get a job, and all she had was $3,000 to her name, and they was trying to gang stalk her out of her house. What do you think this lady did? She got a fucking gun, and she walked up to her manager and the job she was at. She walked up to the property manager that broke in her house and somebody else, and she killed all 3 of them bitches. You see, it all happened what? On the full moon. You see, because they pushing you. They trying to push you. They want this kind of stuff to happen. It happened every month. It's a cycle. And the way to beat the cycle is to literally just shut down your energies on this time. But if you want to direct your energy to something, you manifest against them. I know manifesting seems like, oh my gosh, But what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is it happens. If it don't happen, it don't happen. It's not happening now. But what's the worst that happen if you say, you know what, person right there, you want to fucking play with me? You're going to fucking die right now. If they don't die today, they could die tomorrow. If they don't die tomorrow, they could die in 3 days. They could die at the end of the week, the end of the month. But at the end of the day, it was your manifestation that killed them. You understand what I'm saying? It don't hurt to try. What do you want to do? Go out there with a gun like this crazy lady? It's been so many people lately that are targeted that have been resorting to this. And this is not the first time. I literally did a video a few weeks ago with the white guy who the same thing happened to him. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like I said, something is happening because gang stalking is on the news. Literally, I just said there was a few articles about it this year. But this thing I'm talking about, it was on the news. How I know it was on the news? Because it was a guy I follow on YouTube. His name is Big Boss. You should follow him too. BIGBOSS. And he has like a samurai picture kind of sort of on his page. And he was showing a clip. And the news said that the lady had followed all the right protocol to try to get some justice. But nobody was listening to her. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to say to just let it go. What I'm trying to say is don't be going around here with a motherfucking gun. What I'm trying to say is, you can manifest the same thing that a gun can do. Manifesting can do too. But the only thing is, you're gonna be free and not in fucking jail. I know, because I'm living proof of this. I've done a lot. But I'm still here, able to talk to you about it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to recommend for you guys as you go into this week with this crazy people trying to ramp up the gang stalking. Don't resort to physical violence. Physical violence is wrong. I'm not trying to say don't defend yourself. Somebody jump on you. Yeah, definitely do that. But don't be out here, because they annoying you, trying to hurt them. Manifest. The worst that can happen is it don't happen. But that's not even the worst. How you have to think is not that it didn't happen, but it didn't happen yet. Okay? You have a good day. Oh, yeah. Y'all have a good day. Ooh, that man sound like mustard. Oh. It always does this every time. Oh. I don't even know how to end this. Sorry, it's so embarrassing. Trying. Oh, there we go. Okay. Bye for now, for real. Sorry.